So, neurophysiological effect of yoga. How yoga affect our nervous system and physiology. That we are going to discuss about that one. Okay, so this 10th International Day of Yoga. So we are celebrating. First, we have to give the salutation of the who is the founder of yoga. Okay, we call it Andikeshwar or Adidev. So we give a lot of name for that one. So the woman whose body is the world, whose speech the sum of a language, whose jewels are the moon and stars. That is a pure Shiva I bow. Okay, first we have to give the salutation, Lord Shiva. So first, the greatest scientist, neuroscientist, uh, Lord Shiva. Okay, so he only for the teaching for the mainly for the his wife is Parvati. Actually, Shiva means God. Parvati means every Jivatma we call Parvati. Not only one Parvati. Okay, so God is one only, but God in according to Saiva Siddhanta we call it Pasupadi Pasu. Okay, Pasu means Anma or Jivatma. Padi means the protector or companion. Okay, so that is a only for the companion and protector, Lord only, God only. That's why he called Pati. And Pasa means the how we are bondage with this well dharma. Okay, that is the main thing. Then after that, the great neuroscientist, how the dominating for the emotion brain and neocortex, how the convening that one in Bhagavad Gita, mainly for the discussion between the Lord Krishna and Arjuna and Ramayana. Okay, how they are often the emotion brain go for the illusion. Okay, they're making for the illusion. We see the illusion, which is a reality. We go further an illusion and making the bondage. Okay, so that explained in the Mahabharata also. Like that, these are the main purpose for that how this neuroscientist can be. After that, for the classical period only, the Patanjali given for the mainly for the Yoga Sutras. Uh, the Tony Nada is a mainly MD and PhD. Is a PhD in neuroscience. He compared for the how they are entire 196 sutras. Normally, the Patanjali divide the four part. How it compare for the four part of the brain and 196 sutras he compared for the gyri suicide. In your brain, the up and down is a totally 196. How it will made it? So that everything is covered by the it correlate with the things. That's why Patanjali is mainly for the more than science, psychologist. If you understand the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutras, you can understand about the how it mind are working, how our emotion are working, how our samskara, our habit are working. We can easily understand about the entire thing. Okay, so then after that only the North Sampradaya, the post-classical, like that only development is started from that. In North Sampradaya only, we are learn a lot of the things. Why? How we have to stimulate the brain through the physical movement, through the regulating the breath, through the cleansing our internal organ. That only the contribution of the other Yoga Pradipika, Randa Samhita, Siva Samhita. Then after the Patanjali in the post-classical period, they given the lot of practices for the through the practice of the our Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, we can regulate about the our important organ of the our brain and all. So after that only the first neuroscientist we called Dr. Ramamurthy. He is the first neurosurgeon in India. He did a lot of the uh, neurosurgeon, lot of the surgeon in the Tamil Nadu. Even he also doctor of the sorry, ex our chief minister MGR. Okay, he is a mainly for the explain about the yoga is a development of the cerebral cortex. Okay, the cortex is the upper part of the brain. We normally use for the 3 to 5% for the whole day. how we have to enhance through the practice of the asanas, pranayama, and meditation is explained about the neuroscientist also. Because the everything is a mainly for the based on the our neuro things only. That's why we have to awaken the purpose of the entire yoga practice. How we have to awaken our inner light for the guiding for the living for that one. That is the things only they are explained mainly. Okay, like that only we are given for they are given for those days the simple practices and they called like a mudra vinyan. The simple practice only give the more important because the our body is a unique creation of nature. Okay, the supreme authority in our body, the brain is there because brain is only for the controlling for the each and every organ of our body. Okay, every activity and perfect functioning of the moral nature. If you want regulate that brain, simply we change or simple our hand hasta mudra or mana mudra or kaya mudra. If we practice, automatically we can able to regulate our nervous system. Because till now there is no medication for the neurological disorder, even though the neurological department got the most even Nobel Prize. Okay, but there is a no practices are there. Maybe the development of technology, we can able to scan and identify the problem. MRI scan and a lot of EEG, we can able to identify the problem. But that technology is not helping for the curing the problem. Okay, even they give you the medication that is mainly for the suppressing, making the go no mind, like for the sleep only. So that is the reason only. Okay, so that's why we have to understand how their classification brain, how it communicate for the entire part of the body, this electrical communication. So we have to understand. So mainly for the we have the three type of the brain: CNS, PNS, and ANS. How it control for the CNS for the brain and spinal cord and peripheral nervous system like a cranial nerve and spinal nerve. Then again it divide for the sensory afferent and efferent nerve. Afferent mean is a sensory how our jnanendriya receive the information and send the signal to the our brain. How the brain again further receive that information how using for our efferent neuron or motor organ, how we are regulating our function. So like that, everything the systematic happening for in our body. Again, that motor neuron, there are the divided the two. One is for the our somatic body for moving our arms and legs center. Another one, our internal organ, like autonomic nervous system controlling our internal organ. Another motor efferent neuron control our limbs, legs and all. It is we called voluntary. This is we called involuntary, like a cardiac and other gland center. That's why again it divided for the sympathetic and parasympathetic. This is our structure and function of our and our nervous system. This is the cortex area of the brain. So in the cortex, upper part of the brain, so each and every organ there is a part is there. You can see the abdomen part and pharynx part, tongue part, and jaw, gums, teeth. Like that, each and every organ, the end of the things. Okay, this area only. You can see for that the gray color and another color. Okay, these two color only mainly for the it is an entire part of the these organs are located, because if you have any damage for the this part of the brain, we can't uh, regulate for that organ, we can't use for that organ, that organ will be damaged. Okay, this is the end of the our cortex is a regulating for that, that we have to understand how they important, why we have to move the body. So that is the reason only mudra is helping a lot of the things for that one, because the human mirrors and the plastic brain. Yesterday, explained about the Kavita is mainly about the plastic mean what? Before that, their concept brain is if your one neurons are died, it won't reproduce. That part is a damage, a lifelong. That is their thinking only. That before intervention of this plasticity, after the intervention of this plasticity only, it up to last breath, we can able to change or modify further our structure of the brain and you can connect the new neuron also. That is the things for the new concept of the this neuroplasticity. That's why normally the autism people, the coma people, they not have this mirror neuron. Okay, so that's why the mirror neuron is important for the regulating for the stroke, the paralyzed people, and they did for the lot of research for that one. How uh, even though they say for that one, even not necessary for the do the practice. For example, they did the research in for the reduce the obesity through the creative visualization. Okay, that they are not practice any practices, but they have to visualize an image only daily. Through the imagination and visualization, they reduce the obesity, because whatever we see really, and we are imagine or visualizing things, same thing happen in your body. Okay, if I am doing for the really running fast, okay, that time also my BP increase, yes or no? If you are running fast, even you are sleeping, the dream is coming, some dog is coming, you are back, you are running fast, okay, in the dream only. That time you wake up and check your pulse, that time your pulse is increased or not? Okay, so one is a really you are run and increase the pulse. One another one, you are not really run, only for the you are dreamed only. But that time how the pulse is increased? Okay, so that's why the dreaming also it gives the same effect. Okay, even though you are not further doing physically, even I dream. Okay, I killed some person also. That is karma will come. Okay, so like that is a dream also. If you do the things, it will change your physiology. That only they are used for this mirror and all. Okay, if you see the mirror, our brain normally see the two legs are there. They won't see for if you see the mirror, how many legs you are able to see? One or two legs? Two legs only. But they are keeping the one leg. So automatically brain it will give the information, my both legs are working. Okay, so that information it again for the regain for the our brain. So these are the things for the lot of the people. Even if you go for the Dr. Glenn Darman, he have the institute achievement of human potential. He trained for the even for the brain injury children of remove the brain also. One lady, the young age, around 3 to 4 years, they are remove the half of the hemisphere of the brain. After that, she got the even PhD also. So that much they are did for the research also. And that's why in asana we are given for the why the principle are more important. Why they given for the we have to study, why we have to do for the comfortable, why we have to maintain the posture. These are the things more important. Mainly that time if you do the consciously only, the cortex area involved, the hypothalamus involved. When the hypothalamus only for the maintaining the homeostasis. In yoga, mainly for that, we are controlling our hypothalamus. Okay, that only for the regulating for the entire homeostasis of your body. That's why Patanjali given for the second one, how we have to inculcate with the your emotions also. When you do the meditation, sorry, in asana, don't only you have to move the body, you have to move the body with the relaxed, and your mind should be for the consciously in the elevated stage, in the blissful manner. That time only you are getting for your neurotransmitter produce a lot of positive biochemical like endorphin, endorphin, and all. That only the helping that one. So then only we can able to, because which one is a if you have the change for the opposite thing, mainly for the change the temperature, change the anything, the hypothalamus only role. That's why when you go for the yoga, we are mastery over the hypothalamus. When you are mastery over the hypothalamus, automatically mastery over your health, because everything responsible which one? Your hypothalamus only. Yes, sir. Hypothalamus only maintain your temperature balancing, your BP balancing, your hormones balancing. So everything is balanced by your even your autonomic nervous system. That's why the yoga says when you perform according the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, we can master over your hypothalamus or your limbic brain. Okay, so that is the main thing for the yoga is helping. Okay, then even it will affect for our fascia. People are nowadays they are more discussing about the protein and all. Okay, so actually the protein is mainly for that. It's synthesis for the when we are move the body only. That's why the animals only the we get the more protein. Yes or no? Because of the animals moving, the plant are not moving. செடியில எங்கேயாவது மூவ் பண்ணுமா? Okay, because of that, that only the producing that. When you are move the body only, so that time only it produce. That's why when you are not moving your body, automatically what happen? Our muscle mass is reducing. We are getting disease atrophy after 60, 70. Even some people they are have the fracture. They are not move the limbs. ஒரு காலை அவங்க யூஸ் பண்ணாட்டி என்ன ஆயிடும் இல்ல கால் அந்த கால் சுண்டி போயிடும். Okay, if you are not use the any limbs of body, automatically what happen? The wastage of muscles automatically the muscle size or limb size reduce. Because of that is the reason. That's why we have to do the move that one. The myofascial also that produce for the small peptides. Okay, so that only the protecting us. That is the reason we have to move the body because there is a myofascial is a more important. Because of that only it enhance circulation smoothly for the entire part of the body. This is only they compare with our nadis also. Because that is the reason the new research show that one. This is a web of the protein runs through the membrane each cell and connect the both aspect of the connective tissue. Cytoskeleton means the small protein, the cell of nucleus. This is a means when you are doing the yoga stretch, you are actually pulling your cells of DNA. That's why yoga is changing our gene also. This is a mechanical around your cells, that way of your genes function. When you are doing regularly yoga, you are mainly for the regulating the your genes. That's why after yoga practice, your genes are completely changing. That's why it's a mainly for that one. The why we are thinking is more important, why thought are important mean because of the when the genes are changing, automatically that behavior, that habit make change our chromosome. In the end of the chromosome only, the mainly for which is determined for your health. Okay, that is a telomeres is there. This length is a more we are getting for the good health and long life. If you reduce the length, automatically reduce. Okay, because of the based on your behavior, your thinking pattern, this length will be changed. This telomere length. Then after that, it also we already told. Okay, so the important function of the sympathetic parasympathetic. Okay, sympathetic easily we are able to stimulate because it's connected with this nervous system along with the blood vessels. Okay, when we need for any action, automatically so the blood circulation increase. This nervous system also stimulate. Organ function will be improved. This is easily we can able to stimulate because if you are doing the function is a easy, but controlling the function is a difficult. Yes or no? Even you are doing the function is difficult. Sitting here is a difficult. Who is a difficult here? Talking person and sitting person. A listening person only difficult. Yes or no? உட்காந்துருக்குள்ள மனசு எங்கேயும் போகுது எப்ப முடிப்பாரு எப்ப சாப்பிடலாம். Okay, so difficult is that one. That's why is doing the activities easy. Okay, சும்மா இருக்கிறது தான் கஷ்டம். Okay, so if you are sitting there, simply only the difficult. That's why stimulating our organ is easy. That is the role of the sympathetic. Okay, but the suppressing the activity is more difficult. Yes, sir. Even if you have a small child, making the cry the child easy. Okay, stop the crying is difficult. குழந்தை அழ வைக்கிறது ஈஸி ஆனா என்ன பண்ணும்? Okay, so stop the crying is more difficult. Like that, the yoga is mainly for the suppressing. That's why the parasympathetic system stimulating because the parasympathetic system directly connected with organ, not for the like a sympathetic. Okay, so that's why the yoga, when if you moving our body, when you're doing it relaxedly only, the sympathetic parasympathetic activity is there. Okay, that's why the end part is mainly involved. Okay, for sympathetic you can see only thoracic is start and the lumbar to only the nerve is there. We can see further where their sympathetic nerve only for the chest region only starting It also only for the thoracic region only. Only L2 only there nerve is there. If you go for the parasympathetic, you start from the cranial. Okay, so you start from the cranial, end with the sacral. Okay, so the entire part which is more the sacral. Okay, this part only mainly for the arms are located. These are the legs are located. That's why the moving the body and calming and relaxation effect mainly for the we are regulating the parasympathetic. Okay, so that's why here important for that one. Then only we can control for the our eyes movement, increase our saliva secretion. Then we can normalize our breath and reduce the heart rate, increase the gastric acid and production when you are parasympathetic, when you are doing the yoga. Increase, enhance the function of the liver and gallbladder, increase the function of our digestive enzyme from pancreas, increase the peristaltic movement intestine and kidney blood filtration increase, the bladder urinary irritation increase, and female reproductive organ increase, then male. These are the things when you are relaxed only increase. When you go for the do the activity, so automatically what happen? Saliva secretion reduce. Okay, lungs expand, but breath rate is increased. Breath rate increase means lung volume reduced. Then heart rate increase. Okay, so then gastric production is reduced. Then liver, mainly glucose level increase, gallbladder function is reduced. Then digestion increase reduce, the insulin level increase. When you do the dynamic activity, the intestine is reduced. That's why in the whole day, which one is a dominate in your life? Okay, more you are active, more in the passive, or both you are. Okay, that's why here is a more important. The balance is important. Okay, so that is a yoga says for the samatva yoga. Okay, so that's a more important because the sympathetic like that only it will connected with our nerve. Okay, so through the organs. Parasympathetic is mainly for the when you are rest and digest only you get. It is directly connected with the organ. Okay, through the blood vessel, it is a directly connected to the organ. That's why when you do for the yoga, directly we are controlling organ, but not like that sympathetic. Sympathetic through along with the blood vessels only it connected, it directly connected with the organ. That's why when you do for that one, we are dominating our parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, that's why they asked us, we are involving more that one. Why we are the Uddiyana Bandha and all important mean up to here the protection of the lumbar region is there. Nowadays, a lot of people they have the low back pain. Reason is that you can see for the lumbar region, any protection is there. Here is a ribs protection. How many thoracic is there? 12. 12 ribs protect. It is stabilized. Here there is no protection. Only your abdomen muscles only. Okay. How many of you have the strong core abdomen muscle? Not for the like a belly. Okay, strong. Even the lean also we can't stay strong. If you have the our oblique abdominis, if you have the strong our rectus abdominis transfer, then only our lumbar we can avoid the back pain because there is no support because entire pressure coming our lumbar region. Yes, sir. Okay, here is a protection is there. That's why we have to understand for the core stability. We have to for the important for that. That's why reason we are practice for the Uddiyana Bandha. When you do the forward bending and all, we can along with the Uddiyana Bandha only, we can mainly further strengthen our muscles also. It also stimulate our nervous system also. That is a more important. So like that only if you do for that one, the nerve will impulse or for the regulating our body. This is a neuron, one of the brain cells. Like that only, it will transmit for that one. The sodium and potassium ion only, sending the information for the one place to another place. The end of the neuron only, the neurotransmitter is there. This is a neurotransmitter because neurons not touch other. It will communicate through the only chemicals only. Okay, so that's why when you are doing the anything, it will mainly affect our electronic and chemical also. That's why in yoga we are saying for the karma yoga. because it affects for our how your mind also important. That's why when you practice yoga, it is a reduce the overstimulation of the sympathetic nervous system. We can activate and rest and repair the parasympathetic nervous system. That is the purpose only we have to practice for the yoga, because we are mainly for the regulating for the through the movement of our organ. We are regulating our nervous system. Which one regulating our organ? That is a more important. That's why asana is mainly for that, which contribute the stability and sense of well-being, interactive action of the nervous system, mainly for the tonic introspective impulses, is also delineated now not only more economical of energy, but have the more reaching psychophysiological bearing on the behavior of man. That's why when you do the practice of yoga, it change our behavior also, our habit also. That habit only change only the main reason. Okay, that also change further when you practice so yoga. Another important for that, if you want to enhance our function, the CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. The only practice yoga we can enhance further the CSF circulation, because this CSF only for the mainly for the contacting or transport for our messenger molecular. Messenger molecular mean because each and every organ there is a receptor is there. It receive the information only, it will do the function. Yes, sir. No. If I am telling some information, or if you raise your arms, me, if you receive the information, you are doing the action. Yes, sir. No. Like that, your organs also there is a receptor is there. It need for the chemical message. That's why it is called messenger molecular, or we call it for the ligand binding chemicals that will regulate circulate through the CSF only. It also shock absorbs of the our brain and around the spine. These fluids are there that we normally they connected with our Kundalini Shakti, that liquid we called that one also. Another is how when you're doing for that one, this neuro connected, the correlate and affected, how it will regulating our sensory neuron and motor neuron. Normally sensory neuron mean if you have the lessons for hearing problem mean the sensory neuron problem. In the paralyzed, they can listen but they can't move the body. That is a problem for the motor nerve. Now you can understand that. Sensory neuron receive the information. Normally in yoga, we call Jnanendriya, have the sensory neuron. Okay, motor neuron, we call Karmendriya. After receiving information, we have to do the action that we need for the motor nerve. ஓகே உங்களுக்கு மோட்டர் இருக்கு வீட்டில் பம்ப் செட் இருக்கு என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கரண்ட் ஆப் போடுவீங்க அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன பண்ணும் மோட்டர் தண்ணியா இருக்கு அதே மாதிரி தான் we have to do for the regulating for the our organs also. Okay, so that's why when you do for the slow and consciously only, we can regulate our nervous system. When you regulate our nervous system only, so you develop our cerebral cortex. That's why we have to do for the consciously. If you do for the fastly, it not communicate properly for our nervous system. When you do for the slow only, the nervous system function will be enhanced. Okay, that is a more important. So normally for the which part of the muscles get the stretch mean the belly part only, not for the end part of the nerve. The nerve is it there are the like this only. The end part won't get stretched. The middle part we call the belly part. That part only get the stretch. Because of this stretching only they increase the flexibility. The ligaments, tendon, the joint are nothing but there won't get any stretch. That's why don't pull the or push or anything in the joint. Do you understand? இந்த மூட்டுல ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. எங்க ஸ்ட்ரெச் ஆக நம்ம பார்ட்னா உங்களுடைய மசில்ஸ்ல நடுவுல இருக்க பகுதி தான். Okay, the middle part of the muscles only get the stretching part. Remaining the tendon ligaments won't get stretched. Okay, this is also non-vascular organ. There is no blood supply for ligaments and tendon. That's it. If you are non-vascular mean there is no blood supply. If your blood supply is not there, it won't go for the regrowth. That's why when the ligament tear, directly they go for the operation, they put the bolt or anything. Okay, if your vascular is there, it will healing will happen. There is no vascular, how the healing happen? Heal ஆகும். Okay, that's why when the ligament tear, it won't work. If you do the yoga, we can't recover for the ligament. Okay, we have to go for surgery only. That we have to understand what is the limitation of yoga also. The middle part of the muscles only get the stretching part, the end part won't get the stretching. That we have to understand. So there is a, based on that only the flexibilities are there. If you want forward bending, we have to enhance the length of hamstring only. Because the forward bending only the hamstring only involved, not for the our back part of the body. Okay, so that we have to understand. The pelvic only moving, not for the spine. So we have to only for the using the pelvic only. If you understand this properly, how you are using your pelvic, we can easily understand, we can easily go further, deeper and depth of the asanas without any injury. Okay, so that's why we have to understand that one, how they are in the spinal cord and how we are moving the body. Even you can see for that one, the pelvic only mainly involved, not in the spine. Because spine is a mainly for the limited movement. We call not for the fully movable joint, not for the like a immovable joint. It is slightly movable, which is a movable only for here ball and socket joint, the hip and shoulder only. That's why here is a mainly involved for the hip only. Understand for the forward and backward bending, we have to use our hip, not for the spine. If you are using the spine, we are getting the injury. That's why you have to understand that one. If you injury the spine, we won't get for the easily recover. Okay, that also we have to keep it in your mind. That's why when you are practicing the asana, we are realigning the paraspinal muscle. Okay, so alter the stress and strain and spinal nerve and establish the anatomical circulation. Okay, that's why we have to understand for the how we have to do the movement. Okay, so for that your practice only we need for the wisdom, justice, and courage and self-discipline. Okay, so that's why normally the PK is saying us is anything you want practice, first you have to enhance the knowledge about that in your brain. The brain will give the justice, which is right, which is wrong. Okay, then only we have the courage to for the daily practice. Okay, so the courage means not for the fighting with others, we have to go for self-discipline. Making our mind peace, only the courage needed. Okay, so situation anything, that time I have to calm and quiet. That only we need for the courage, not for the when problem is coming, I have to fight or scold with others. That is not need for the courage. Okay, think about that one. Courage mean what? Okay, so that is the reason we need that this principle we have to follow. Okay, so that's why we have to use for the our rational. A limbic brain is a because we are dominate that one. So that's why yoga is mainly for that, not reacting. Because first is a develop for the limbic brain. That is the problem is again coming for. In our body, how first to communicate? When the knowledge we are given. In the fetus and after the baby born, which is how it using through emotion only communicating. Yes or no? 1 month baby or 3 month baby, how it communicating? Through emotion only. Yes sir. Okay, that's why the first which part of the brain developing? Limbic or emotional brain. Okay. Normally the neocortex, the thinking brain after 7 years only developing. சில பேருக்கு இந்த சாவக்குள்ள develop ஆகுது. Okay, so even some people they are after. Okay, so the rational thing. சொல் புத்தியும் கிடையாது சுய புத்தி. Okay, so that is things for the rational thinking brain. Okay, we have to use for this one and instinct brain. Yoga says we have to use for the both equal. That's why we are given for the this limbic brain is a feminine brain. So neocortex is a what the masculine brain. Both we have to intelligent quotient, emotional quotient. Both are important, but which is more powerful? The feminine brain only. That's why we call
Emotion.
it Shakti. Okay, but we have to use it carefully. Sometimes we have to use it further that one. That's why any problem is coming in the family, என்ன சொல்லுவோம் கலந்து ஆலோசித்து தீர்வு எடுக்கணும். Okay, we have to discuss and you have to take the decision. Without discuss, one is a dominate problem. Very much நிறைய இது. Okay, so that is the reason we have to how we have to use for the our this neurological system in our life. That is the purpose only. We are simply saying for the everything in our temple for the simple. There are some deeper meaning inside. Even for that, which is a vehicle for the Shakti lion. Okay, which is vehicle for the masculine for Shiva மாடு. எது சாதுவா இருக்கு? Edu Veerama. Now you can understand who is the powerful. Okay, so everything they say is just symbolic. Okay, that we have to understand the things. Okay, that is the things only yoga the given for the balancing our life. Okay, thank you very much.